Today we have gathered to pay tribute and homage to our beloved secretary, Dr. Laxman Prabhu. As you know, he was a sitting secretary and with lots and lots of struggle fighting with the disease, ultimately succumbed to the disease. And today he is no more with us. Although it is very difficult to digest the fact that he is no more with us, we have to pay tribute. He has done so much for USI, so much for everything, and we are gathered here for that purpose. May I, before I throw upon the whole meeting, may I first request Dr. Sanjay Kulkarni to pay homage and say a few words about Dr. Laxman Prabhu. Over to you, Dr. Sanjay Kulkarni.
Thank you, Dr. Ravindra Sabnis. Dr. Laxman Prabhu used to send me notes and actually the paragraphs regarding what I should say during important meetings of USI. And today, this is my most difficult talk of my life, and who is going to help me? To Mrs. Kavita Prabhu and the family, as a president of USI, I offer my profound condolences. We have lost our beloved honorary secretary of USI, Dr. Laxman Prabhu. USI was very fortunate, and I was very fortunate as the president to have Laxman as a loving and capable secretary. We traveled together to so many conferences this year in last 8 or 9 months, and we always retired early in the evening after the dinner. Most important concept was 6 o'clock in the morning, we met in the lobby, and then we used to go for a walk for 1 hour, and we discussed a lot of issues regarding USI, and most importantly, the talk went on various likes, like he was a master in music, Indian classical music, Pandit Bhimsen Joshi, and various ragas. And then I was always mesmerized by his command over English and Sanskrit shlokas. And everywhere that we went, he always gave an example in Sanskrit shloka, and which was apt for the situation. He told me stories about his life, that he lost his father at a very young age of 4. Then his uncle took him to Mumbai for to induce him into the business of grains, but he did not like it, and he came back. And Ramdas Pai was his uncle, and he became a doctor. And his life was influenced by his guru. He used to call it Guruji, P. Venugopal. And when I visited P. Venugopal sir's home to pay respect to the family, his son, Dr. Anand Venugopal, gave 2 ancient violins used by his Anand's mom or PVG's wife to Dr. Laxman Prabhu. As a mark of respect, he carried them, so he was going to repair it and then keep it as a souvenir from his beloved teacher. We have lost a great friend, and I offer condolences to the family. I request all USI members to take care of their health and then be a member of benevolent fund. This is not the right time for me to talk about this, but taking care of your health, very important. I'm praying God that his soul should rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kulkarni. Yes, all of us really are devastated with his departing away from us, but nevertheless, we have to accept the fact. For last 1 year, we had so many meetings and webinars, and the constant feature of that webinar was the opening remark by Dr. Laxman Prabhu with a smiling face and one Sanskrit shloka. We are missing all that, and what a cruelty of the destiny that we have to gather here. And instead of him, I have to offer the opening remarks. So now I request Dr. Prajwal to say a few things and tell more about Dr. Laxman Prabhu. Over to you, Dr. Prajwal. Please start.
Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes, yes.
Good day,
You are
everyone.
sharing the presentation?
Yes, sir. The presentation is visible?
No. You have to, I think you stop share and then share again. Yes, it is visible. Make full screen. Yeah, please go ahead.
We in the Department of Urology at KMC Mangalore are yet to come to terms with this loss. Dr. G.G. Laxman Prabhu's lifelong association with KMC began with his MBBS and MS at KMC Mangalore and MCH at Manipal, and culminating as HOD at KMC Mangalore. Manipal always had a special place in his heart. I personally felt that when he relocated back to Mangalore, he left a little of his heart back there. You know, a boyish enthusiasm and a twinkle in his eye as you would announce, "Boys, today I'm going to Manipal, you guys manage." We have a few snippets from his personal life. Married to Kavita Prabhu, and now father to two grown children, Pritika, a dietitian in Mangalore, and Akshay, who has completed his MD medicine from KMC Mangalore and set to join DM cardiology at Jayadeva. Sir's encyclopedic knowledge of a diverse range of topics was, to say the least, extraordinary. Most are familiar with his jolly and vivacious nature, but teaching brought out his truest form. He taught with passion and expected no less from his students, be it career guidance for PU students, MBBS students, his urology trainings, and he continued to encourage interaction with the department by instituting the Dr. Gurucharan Memorial Prize for MBBS undergraduates and the A.B. Rao Memorial Quiz for general surgery PGs. He invited faculty to Mangalore to remember that he would ensure a visit to the department and one-to-one interaction with his students. He also instituted the tradition of the Foundation Day lectures, an opportunity for students to interact with various faculty and also a chance for a get-together with all the past students. GGLP sir never lost an opportunity to interact, be it a Women's Day celebration, Nurses' Day, a birthday in the department. He would get all together and have a witty remark at hand. Music was an inseparable part of his life. He's an inspiration for the violin, Sherlock Holmes. He shared a curious love-hate relationship with his music master, and that's Akshay accompanying on the tabla there. Music would creep into every other conversation. The sight of a KUB and an unsuspecting resident, you'd call that person, "Come here, man. What do you see over here? What does this remind you of?" And the hapless fellow had no answer. And you would say, "Doesn't that remind you of Tanpura?" And he would gladly announce, "See, this is a Tanpura sign. This is a sign of a well-placed DJ stand. You guys have no imagination." Apart from this, his line drawings to illustrate anatomy and a point of surgical technique are the stuff of legend in the urology department. Patient care was utmost on his mind. He would often flay corporate policies, but make sure that he did all that he could to help any deserving patient. Two more hobbies which Sir was fond of. He had an excellent stamp collection, which was themed on Gandhiji, and he encouraged his children to do the same. While also maintaining this urology connection, he had a special postal cover released in the memory of Professor H.S. Bhatt and a compilation of the stamps with the Manipal theme also released on the same occasion in 2022. Numismatics, not just a coin collection, but the deeper knowledge of the same. While any of us would just simply pocket our change, he would study each coin and lecture us on which mint this has been produced based on the markings on that coin. His command of the languages, as Sir said, was like simply extraordinary. During his tenure as the USI secretary, he crisscrossed the country innumerable number of times, attending major workshops and conferences, probably like no secretary has done before. No tribute is complete without a mention of his special relationship with his lifelong mentor, Professor P. Venugopal. It is poignant to note that both have passed away in the same year within a span of a few months. You must be all familiar with this proverbial image of a cowboy riding into the sunset, a significance of a job well done. Alas, not for Sir. As far as his contributions to the urology community were concerned, his cowboy days were just beginning. But alas, that was not to be. Thank you, sir. You left us with a lot of memories, but also regrets for what could have been.
Yeah, I think certainly we really miss him. And slowly, we are coming to the terms. Thank you very much. Well, as you know, this is the first time in the history of USI that the sitting office bearer is lost. And therefore, we need to follow certain protocols while we are paying homage and tribute to Dr. Laxman Prabhu, our secretary of USI. And therefore, there are so many people who want to say many things. There is almost everybody in the whole society who does not know Dr. Prabhu. I'm sure everybody in the society has some photograph with him. And so many people have shared the memories and their photographs in WhatsApp groups since the time he was sick. So almost all the groups were paralyzed and contributing and discussing only about the wellness and well-being of Dr. Prabhu and praying for him. Since he passed away, there are all the groups and WhatsApp chats are full of his memories, his photographs, his videos, whatever he has said, whatever shlokas he has chanted. So many things are there. There are many things to be told by so many things, but we have a time constraint, and therefore I will strictly go by the protocol, and I will call some of the representatives to speak on behalf of everybody, so that everybody who wanted to say many things have been told by a representative person. So with this, now I call upon Dr. Lalit Shah, the President-elect of the Urological Society of India, to say a few words.
Good morning. Thank you, Dr. Sabnis. This Dr. Laxman Prabhu had been a very, very close friend, and he was more like a brother, younger brother. Since the last 4-5 years, our friendship has grown much deeper, and almost every second to third day we used to talk. As I am not a morning person, my tapping time used to be in the evening. So 7 to 8 would be our usual talking time, and it could not wait for minimum 15 to 20 minutes. We will be discussing about various things, some part about USI and some other aspects of life. And after my cardiac episode, he was the one who used to tell regularly to take care of myself, to take care of my health, and bother about all these things. And today also, since we lost him, whenever I get a call from anyone, I feel that's what he's calling. And it really fails me in describing my feelings for him, because we had so many good things about that. And the best to do to him would be to fulfill his vision and desires for which he had. Urologists for urology, urologists for urologists, and urologists by urologists. And these were his all big desires. Let us all pray and fulfill his desires. May God bless him. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Lalit Shah. I think there are many people who want to say so many things. I request everybody to put whatever they want to say in the chat box. We'll archive that chat box and keep it as a record. Also, you have opportunity that we are going to come out with a special edition of a newsletter in which you can write, you can share your memories, and you can write something in that newsletter. But today we will have a little bit of restriction because of the time. I just wanted to tell a few things about Dr. Laxman Prabhu, since I am closely associated with him for last 1 year as a secretary and me as a immediate past president. He was a person who was dedicated so much to Urological Society of India. I have not seen any such dedication by anybody, including myself, any time in the past. He wrote on 2nd November, I'm sure all of you have read that he wrote that he is like a falling leaf, and if he falls, it will fall on the root of the tree called USI, and even after falling it will become manure after it decays, and then it will nurture the USI inside. Such devotion, such dedication is unseen. I'm sure all of us have to make sure that his dream comes true, and we follow what dream he has said about the Urological Society of India. Whichever organization he worked, he made sure that organization becomes big. So many people become big because of the organization in which they are working. Laxman Prabhu was a such person that because of him, the organization became big. And I think we thank the God that such person was the part of Urological Society of India. As rightly said by Dr. Prajwal, that when Dr. Venukumar passed away, he was so much disturbed. He wanted to do so many things, come out with the special editions, come out with something, come out with so many things. And he had planned so many things about Professor Venugopal because you are really disturbed by his passing away. But what an irony that in few months' time, he followed his own guru and went to meet him in the heaven. And today we are here to pay tribute to him. I really pay my tribute and homage to Dr. Laxman Prabhu. A person was never, no person was like him in the past, and I'm sure no person will be like him in the future. Om Shanti. May I request now Dr. Pankaj Maheshwari, the treasurer of USI, to say a few things.
Good morning, sir. Indeed, it's an extremely sad day for me. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are audible.
It's an extremely sad day for me. I'm still not able to digest this news because it was just that day, early morning, when me and Laxman were discussing one small issue in the female urology section. And after a couple of hours, I get to know the news of his illness. Me and Laxman have grown in USI together. We were council members together. Interestingly, when I had not even thought of applying for treasurer, in one of the meetings, he gifted me a wallet. And I was quite surprised when he gifted me a wallet. And he said that when I become secretary, I want you to be my treasurer. So he had planned a lot of things in advance that we had to do together. I have indeed lost a close friend, a guide, and a go-to person whom I would call up so many times with so many confusions and problems in the council, in the society, in my thinking about the issues. And he would always be a go-to person who would guide me and help me come out of it. There was indeed a lot to learn from him. Friends, all I will say is the best Shradhanjali we can give to Laxman is that we follow his footsteps. We need to take USI to the path he had envisioned. I will end by saying, Laxman, you always have a place in my heart, a very special place. And Kavita ji, consider me as a younger brother. Whenever and if you need anything in life, we are always there for you. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you.
May I request Dr. Prashant Mulavkar to say a few words on behalf of all council members. Dr.
Namaskar.
Prashant.
Yes, sir. Namaskar. Om Shanti. Friends, it is very difficult to eulogize any person, not just dates, events, but what we should think and remember is the impact left by that man on your life, on your organization. We used to talk almost daily. And whenever there was some issue, either in the organization or something else, he used to ask me what should be done in this situation. And whenever there was something disturbing in the organization, he said, I have a shoulder on whom I can cry, and that is your shoulder. There were some instances in the organizations about which he had to take some hard decisions. And he was very unhappy about those decisions. And he sent very sad notes to me sometimes. It was very difficult for me to know that he had a major cardiac event. On the second day of the event, when I was having a nap, I got a phone call from his phone number. I was disturbed that how can he call me at this time when he's already admitted in ICU. When I called back on that number, it was Kavita who said that Laxman has asked me to give the secretary's email credentials and passwords to you. And he has asked me to work for USI. Friends, we all have to work for the USI. we all have to work for whatever Lakshman has asked us to do. We can just do just two things today. Let us all gather in Patna to pay homage to our leader, and let us all join the benevolent fund scheme. Technically speaking, the registrations for benevolent scheme will be only for those people, people who were members at the time of his death will be contributing. But I spoke to Anish today morning, and it is also possible for newer members to contribute an extra amount to Lakshman's fund till 30th of November. You will get a detailed notice about this in 1 or 2 days. Friends, souls like Lakshman are nurtured by the society, and they nurture back the society. It's for all of us to be in his footsteps, to live the dream he has left for us. Thank you. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Prashant. As he was sitting secretary of USI, and he had been in various positions initially in USI as well as in the South Zone. May I request now Dr. Jinil Kumar, the sitting president of South Zone USI, to say a few words about him.
Let me first share my great grief on the departure of one of my greatest friends. More than that, he was like a brother to me. And all situations, wherever I wanted some advice, I usually used to contact him. He was my co-counselor from South Zone when I was the USA counselor, and we used to travel together, and we used to discuss all the matters together. And I know the integrity of the person, his loyalty to the association, and this is a great loss for USA and for South Zone, because he is one of the greatest sons of South Zone that is created for, and is the greatest contribution from South Zone to our society, and is a great loss. And for me, as a person, is a great loss, because he was very close with me, and yesterday I visited his house to pay homage and or share our feeling with his family, and I found that the joint family, and no wonder how he was like a brother to all of us, because that I can feel and sense in the family. When he came out, I just told Kavita that as a brother, I'm telling, whenever there is any issues, he as an association will be there, and he's like our brother, and always you can just message us or contact us. We'll be always there with you. This our word. I know that each and every person will be having this in their mind. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. Very, very true, Janil Kumar. I think this is the quality of him. Every one of us have experience who have worked with him. He used to phone up so many people, and we know, I'm sure everybody must be memories that whenever his phone call used to come, minimum half an hour to 1 hour, and of that 1 hour, 80% of the times he would be talking, because he had so much of information to tell, so much of things to call, so much of things to share, but you all miss all that. Now I request Dr. P.P. Singh, the president of North Zone USI, to say a few words.
Good morning to you all. Am I audible?
Yes, please go ahead.
My dear friend, an honest worker, we all know, an excellent leader, and a very good human being, has left us all of a sudden. I can't believe that I lost such a good friend. I started knowing him very well around 3 years back, and can't believe that I have lost him. Probably the God also needs good people, and he has taken us away. And our dear secretary Laxman Prabhu had a deep knowledge of the subject and mythology, and I was surprised that he used to correlate his deep knowledge day to day in such a way, and probably as if he was playing a music every time he was speaking. He used to call me PPG. He's the only person in the society who used to call me PPG. And those words keep echoing into my ear. There has not been a single day uh, after I came to know about his illness that I have not talked to my wife about him. She started crying when she heard about it. I remember when the Varanasi conference was finished at the end, we walked together, and he was traveling to Patna. He was very, very enthusiastic about that meeting. He said, there are the registration, and we have to work together to increase the number of registration in Patna. He and last he said we will see each other in Patna. You talked to him once, and you are spellbound by his charming persona. He had such a calming influence, and I will not mention the situation, but he had such a wonderful calming influence and character that he would implement things also and will come out in flying color in every difficult situation. The void which has been created by his law can never be filled up. And I think the best tribute to him is that we follow his footsteps, we follow whatever he has said, and we make the next conference a memorable one, especially because it will be the best tribute to my dear friend. My condolences to the whole family, Dr. Kavita and the son. And I am just a call away. I am going to share my number with them. Just words cannot express the loss which has happened to the Urology Society, and we will always remember this great human being. Namaskar. Om Shanti.
Thank you. May I request Dr. Ullas Sate, the President of the West Zone Urology Society of India, to say a few words. Yeah, Ullas, please go ahead.
Can I be heard?
Yes, please go ahead.
Namaskar, everyone. Whom the gods love, die young. It was indeed a rude shock when we came to know about the untimely death of our friend, Dr. Laxman. The enormity of the loss for the family and for the USI is huge. My first interaction with him was during the UCCon, the virtual UCCon in Ahmedabad, where we had a lot of free time. And I was greatly impressed by his command and knowledge of not only our subject, but so many other things, including Sanskrit. What attracted me to his personality was his great command of English and Sanskrit. Just a month back, 5 minutes after I took over as the president of the West Zone in Indore, he took me on the side and started detailing me about all the things which are expected from any zonal president and what protocols have to be followed for the next conference. Such was his sincerity for the society. It is a great loss for his family and for the USI, and I pray that we all follow the footsteps what he had envisaged in the Patwa conference. Om Shanti.
Rightly said, Ullas. I think every person who meets him becomes his lifetime friend. That was the kind of nature which he had. He was like a Ajat Shatru. He had no enemy at all. Nobody had any anger with him. Nobody had very quarrel with him. Nobody had very fight with him. Even though he was not agreeing with something, he would tell in such a way that opposite person would never get angry. So that was the kind of person he was. Thank you, Ullas. May I request now Dr. Amit Ghosh, the president of East Zone USI, to say a few words.
Namaskar and good morning. I think all of us in USI know why we are here, and we also know what and who Laxman Prabhu was and what he was capable of. My humble submission, I am not qualified to speak on the qualities of such a great man. I only want to say that Laxman has only just changed address from Mother Earth to heaven. We need to realize that. Such was his influence that all relatives, family, friends, associates, and anybody that he has come into contact with has been shattered and demolished. We have all been drowned in grief and sorrow. Not a single moment has happened where we have not thought about Laxman Prabhu ever since he changed address. But we have to have a different resolve, and that is, let us try to think what Laxman actually stood for. Laxman tried to live a life of universal friendship. Everybody who came in touch with Laxman was a friend. His motto in life was inspiration by his smile, his laughter, his joyful nature, and his inspirational attitude. There was an inherent leadership in him, and that is what we should live along with. My appeal to all USI members is to let us live a life like Laxman. And this is the slogan we will attribute from the East Zone. And we have a conference around the corner next week. And I have resolved that this conference, we have a program on uro-oncology where we are reaching out for awareness of prostate cancer patients. We will not only have a prayer meeting for Laxman during the inaugural function of this session of the oncology conference, but we will have a resolve on the cancer awareness episode. This will be attributed and dedicated to Laxman Prabhu. He would love that. We will need your blessings, Laxman. I do not believe that Laxman is not here in this meeting. I believe he's with us. He has just changed address. Let us live a life like Laxman. Thank you. Namaskar.
Rightly said, Amit. May I request Dr. Malik to say a few words, and then we'll follow the protocol again. Malik, please go ahead.
Thank you, Sarnes, and my heartfelt condolences to Kavita and the family of Laxman Prabhu. Well, I was a South Zone president when he was my secretary. One thing I can say, you all have said about the great qualities of Laxman. One thing is, he's a man who had something else extra than any other person. He had some spark in him, which is seen in his language or his commander or whatever he does. And that spark is something different. And I conclude in saying one thing. Laxman can be the best lieutenant. Laxman means the best lieutenant anybody can have. And I think Laxman is the best lieutenant USA could ever have in now or in future. And I rest in peace, Laxman. I really miss you. He was my secretary in the tough times during my Wayanad conference, and we both together ran the show at that point of time. Had Laxman would have not been there, I would not had the support to do that conference at that venue at that time. Thank you, Laxman, to be there with me during my days, and I'm very sorry that you're not there with us now. Thank you, Sarnes.
Thank you, Malik. I think he was a man of crisis, and I remember that Wayanad conference. Everybody was in dilemma what to do. But you, Surya Prakash, and Paulos put together a fantastic show, unimaginable show in that disturbed time. Thank you, Malik. May I request now Dr. Surya Prakash to say a few words. He is the current sitting secretary of the South Zone.
Thank you, sir. My revered pranams to all those who gathered here on this occasion. Dr. Laxman sir's sad demise is an unimaginable loss to his family and the urology community of India. I cannot describe my grief in words. I pay my heartfelt condolences to his family. I was fortunate to work with Laxman sir when he was the ASU secretary. That time I was the council member. What I learned from him was he was very prompt in responding to emails, very meticulous in record keeping. We used to have discussion on on urology topics. He is an orator par excellence. His endearing demeanor and captivating grin have left a lasting impression on everyone he has come into contact with. One day I asked him, "Sir, how you learned so much?" And he replied in his own unique way, "Whenever I talk to someone, I learn few things from them. Thus, I must give my friends the credit for imparting the wisdom to me." He was so passionate about his urology. Yesterday, when I visited his house to pay homage to his respects to his family members, I saw his car. The car, the name Major Calix was written on his car. He was so passionate about urology. 2 weeks back, I was talking to him on phone. I told him, "Sir, now next you should be prepared for the president post." In a serious tone, he replied to me, "No, Surya, my next plan is to go for Vanaprastha Asrama." I was bewildered. I probably had some intuition about the future. We plan to stay together in a hotel room in the coming weekend, the 26th November, for the Professor H.S. Bhatt meet, and I booked a room for both of us. But God had some other plans for him. We lost a great teacher, a great leader, and a wonderful human being. It is likely that God desired his company more than what we decide. We are all mortals, but people like Dr. Laxman will continue to live in our memories for generations to come. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Surya Prakash. I think what you said is very, very right, that he had such a nice passion about urology that all the time he was just thinking about urology. May I request now Dr. Rishi Nayyar, the North Zone USI Secretary, to say a few words.
Well, first of all, my condolences to the bereaved family. I was really at loss to think that what I am going to speak about here. You see, Dr. Laxman Prabhu, I have met him for a very short period of time, and he had such a lasting impact on me. So I just dig into this shlok from the Sanskrit that Nanam Chindanti Shastrani, Nanam Dhayati Pavaka, Na Chainam Kledante Apo, Na Shoshati Maruta. So, true to the essence of this shlok, I think his demeanor, his attraction, his calmness effect, all that is going to stay with us forever. And as long as USI is going to there, he is going to be there for USI, and we are going to learn from his whatever he has given to us. So as I said, I had a very brief stint with him during our togetherness at the EAU meeting in Milan. And what I found was he was such an avid reader. He would pick any book that is there with him and would gulp down the essence for it, out of it. And he has such a vast knowledge that he could talk about really anything in the world. And with such emphasis and impact that one would get really mesmerized out of it. I was really looking at him as a figure to which I would go to during my tenure in secretaryship, but we are so unfortunate that we lost him now. And this is one incident that he picked coffee maker during that meeting, and the coffee maker himself was also so impressed that he got a picture with him and brought out that picture on the coffee mug itself. So my tributes to you, sir. May you rest in peace forever. And my condolences again. Thank you.
Thank you, Rishi. Now I call upon Dr. Gaurang Shah, the West Zone USI Secretary, to say a few words.
Yeah, pranam to all family members. Urology Society family members are shocked with sudden demise of their loved and luminary leader and pace-setter Secretary Dr. Laxman Prabhu. Laxman was like Ram, a loved elder brother to many of his friends. He was adored by his students, and all members cherished his company. He was full of innovative ideas. We have physically lost him, but he will always remain in everyone's heart. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Gaurang. May I call upon the East Zone USI Secretary, Dr. Somirendra, to say a few words.
Good morning to all the members of the USI family and the most respected Madam and the whole family members. I, on behalf of the members of the East Zone chapter of the USI, convey our deep and heartfelt condolences on the sudden and untimely demise of our beloved Dr. Laxman Prabhu sir. We share the grief and pain of the sir's family during this difficult time and pray to God to give strength to bear this loss and be able to say goodbye to a noble soul. During my short interaction, Prabhu sir shared his vision and dreams of USI during this Guwahati conference, told me to set priorities on my new job as a secretary of the East Zone. We all vividly remember sir, his presence in the recently concluded East Zone meeting in Guwahati. In his speech, he showed love for East Zone and concern for Yusikon Patna 2024. He started the slogan, Patna Yusikon, Apna Yusikon. This was the love and affection to our members. In Prabhu sir's final journey, we have lost a noble soul, a loving father, a caring husband, a friend, a teacher, a caring doctor, and dynamic leader of USI. We all would cherish the memories associated with him till the end of our lives. His legacy, inspiration, motivation, goodness, and humility will always remain imbibed in the USI family. Personally, I would dedicate my hard work to achieve the visions and dreams shared for the common goal of growth of USI, East Zone, and USI as a whole. May his noble soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, may I request Dr. Ajay Kumar, who had very close association with him, not only as a past president, not only as a senior urologist, but also his association with him in National Board of Examination. So may I request Dr. Ajay Kumar, sir, on behalf of all the past presidents, to say a few words about him.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir. We can hear you.
Okay. Well, we were shell-shocked to hear that after his zone, suddenly he fell ill and it was serious illness. And we were so agonized. Why I'm telling agonized, means me and my wife had very, very close relation with him. My son studied in Manipal. He was 10 years junior to him, and Laxman, everybody has talked about his personality, and I don't want to repeat it. Whenever he visited my house, my son and him both were very much interested in mythology and all this, and they used to be engrossed with each other. When he will come, he has stayed with me several times in my house. Early morning, he will get up in his pajama kurta, walk to the garden, and as usual, somebody said 80% he will talk, 20% we will listen. But such a pleasant talk. You talk to him, urology was a part. Mythology, he was so close. You know, we lost our son. And the grief of loss ours has repeated again. 30th of October, he was where I'm sitting. He was here, had breakfast with us, along with Anand Peter and Nonit. He had come for preparation, to see the preparation for Patna. And the boy was not eating well. Every time he will eat, this, that. He was not eating well on the breakfast table. My wife told him, "Hey, Laxman, you are behaving like a child." And in his very, natural way, he will say, "Madam, in front of you, I am always a child." That was his, childlike nature. I will not describe anymore. I will not go any longer. I discovered this boy 25 years ago. And during my secretaryship, I started giving a responsibility and he reached there. He had the talent. Everybody knows. I will end with saying that his multifaceted personality was like a Labrador spur. As you move the spur, you see different colors in it, different shines in it, and different reflections in it. That was Laxman. We will never forget him in our life. I used to hum a Hindi song after death of my son, and still I'm humming. Now I will have to hum twice. न चिट्ठी न कोई संदेश, जाने कौन सा ऐसा देश, मेरे लक्ष्मण तुम चले गए. Om Shanti.
Thank you, sir. We are all in the same emotions and we really cannot express what we feel right now about him. May I request now Dr. Sashidharan, who had a very long, very close association with him, being in the South Zone. He had enormous sort of respect with Dr. Sashidharan. And may I request Dr. Sashidharan to say a few words about him.
Friends, I am participating in this congregation in a manifestly distressed frame of mind. I am not yet emotionally reconciled or coped up with the loss of Laxman. Our interactive relationship stretched over several years, and it has several contours. The teacher-student relationship being the cardinal one. We subsequently became the staff of the same university, the Manipal University. I headed the urology division at Manipal for 10 years, and Laxman was positioned in Mangalore. And only 70 kilometers actually distance us. And this geographical proximity helped us to forge and cement an abiding relationship. We interacted academically, professionally, and socially. And above all, I could observe from close quarters his growth and expansion into a class and academically brilliant urologist. I was his MCH examiner and subsequently, a few years later, his BME exam. Laxman used to recall these two examinations in a very humorous way and thanked me for mollycoddle and sequestrating him from the capricious vagaries of my fellow examiners. I cherish his compliment and comments. We cannot indeed overlook without notice his substantial contribution to the Urological Society of India and as its secretary. In fact, I do not remember him lobbying fiercely for this coveted position. He was installed to this pivotal position through an unalloyed popular support. He performed brilliantly as USI Secretary. He generated elegantly mannered and reasoned and diffused, whatever he did, he diffused color, warmth, and delight. And he attached value and moral weight to whatever he did. His loss has certainly grievously hurt and impoverished our society. I met him last in Toronto during the South Zone Urological Association meeting. We spent several happy academic hours together. Little did we realize that that encounter will acquire a tragic, valedictory contour. His cheerful countenance and other lovely memories of him will continue to inhabit us tenaciously. My heartfelt condolences to Kavita and children. Let Almighty provide them the fortitude to sustain this colossal deprivation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We all know his love and affection of teaching. Wherever he went, whatever he did, ultimately was for the benefit of the students of urology. He had very long and very close association with National Board of Examination, for which he not only was a teacher, not only as an examiner, but he conducted several training programs on behalf of National Board all across the country. And may I request now the National Board of Examination President, Dr. Abhijat Shit, to say a few words about him.
Certainly, Laxman has been one of the greatest faculty I have met in last couple of years. And he was such a creative, he was passionate about what he was doing. And in fact, in one conference, I was amazed with his skills, and I told him that there is a way, because I'm from the literary family. So I told him that one thing I know, that creative people can live longer because they can always keep themselves very happy from inner side. Unfortunately, destiny has not followed that for Dr. Laxman. And Dr. Laxman was very delightful guy for the whole National Board of Examination. He did a lot of conferences. Last time he did conferences in Srinagar with our communication workshop, with our association, joint association. And I pay heartfelt tribute to him and heartfelt condolences to the family. May the God be with all of them. And just at the end, I will say a little bit of so a small proverb for him, which I feel that is true to the sense that true to the sense for Laxman, that Dr. Laxman Prabhu lived a life worthy of emulation. Despite his affluence and popularity, he humbled himself to be of help to the people around him. Goodbye are not forever. Goodbyes are not the end. They simply mean that we'll miss you until we meet again. Om Shanti.
Thank you, sir. As you rightly said, he was so passionate about the teaching and training, and therefore, with the Indian School of Urology, he had so much of a close rapport and association that even though there was a chairman, he was taking so much of interest of the programs and the courses and hands-on training what we were doing. So may I request Dr. Sujata, the chairman-elect of the ISU, to say a few words about Dr. Laxman. Sujata, please go ahead.
Hello, yes, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Sir. Yes, sir. With extreme sorrow, I'm speaking these few words about Laxman Prabhu, sir, on behalf of Chawla, sir, and myself from ISU. Though Chawla, sir, was his friend for so many years, I know his anguish when we were discussing sir's health in the last few days. And despite of knowing him only for the last 2 years, I've never seen a person so enthusiastic talking about so many topics, right? From music to Upanishads to his childhood, his grandmother, family business, you name it, and he could talk. And he had suggested the Gurukul concept for Patna, which me and Chawla sir would do to our best. He had a vision for ISU, and we definitely promise him to do our best. He had also told that tell the women in urology to take up central roles in the USI, and he wanted me to convey it to them. And he also wanted us to know that we are not segregating the women but looking forward to our role in building up the USI. And life was indeed cruel in snatching yours from such a pure soul. His voice still rings in my ears, and I feel that the following lines are for him. जिंदगी तो बेवफा है, एक दिन ठुकराएगी, मौत महबूबा है अपनी साथ लेकर जाएगी, मर के जीने की आदा आपने ही दिखलाई है. Thanks, sir, for all your teaching and friendship.
Thank you, Sujata. I think everybody's heart is crying for his for what he has done for all of us, and he is no more with us. At present, Dr. Chawla is with the family. He is in his house, and therefore I requested Sujata to speak on him. Chawla is so devastated that he said, I will not be able to speak anything on screen. And therefore I requested Sujata to speak. But nevertheless, he is with the family and he is logging in actually from his Laxman's house. So may I now request the chairman of the renal transplant section of USI, Dr. Umesh Oza, to say a few words about him.
Namaskar. My association with Dr. Laxman Prabhu grew as a chairman of renal transplantation subspecialty. He also wanted to constantly make an effort to improve the working and relevance of urological service in India for its members. Before every program of kidney transplantation subspecialty, he will have a meeting with us, and he was ready for all the suggestions made by us to make sure that the program is successful and beneficial for all the members, but making sure that everything is done in the ambit of USI rules and regulations. During my personal interaction, we also used to have some discussion on Bhagavad Gita, a truly spiritual soul. He is a great loss to the society. His family members have lost a great pillar of support, but I'm sure his karmas and blessings earned will always be with them and bless them. I conclude with a powerful mantra for his soul and our peace. Om Bhubhurva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Umesh. May I now request Dr. S.K. Pal, the chairman of the urolithiasis section of USI, to say a few words about him. Dr. Pal.
Namaste, Pranam, Kavita ji, other family members, as well as USI family. My association with Laxman is 33 years old. I never imagined that this day can also come. I think I am speaking on behalf of the whole Manipal family, our alma mater. He joined Department of Urology in 1990 as a bubbling MCH student when myself and Professor Venugopal were the only faculty members. Professor M.S. Rao has just joined in and he was settling. We found Laxman a very sincere and inquisitive student. Now, as all of us know him, he was very much into the basics and his questions used to be really very basic. And it was difficult to answer many times on the spot. and then we had to go back, read about it, and discuss with him. He will always make us think. He was very jovial, social, very literate. For any social cause, he will always be there, as we have seen him uh, uh, chairing so many societies and being secretary and a really very active society. He was a very well-read person, very articulate, and a learned teacher. His passing away is a great loss to the society and all of us. It is irreparable loss. I don't think it is really difficult to imagine if anyone can replace him. I came in very close contact with him. We continued to talk all these 33 years very often on many aspects, and we came in contact, regular contact, when he sent his religious Guruji to me for prostate surgery, and then we used to talk, and indirectly I came to know Kavita ji also, and therefore I will request Kavita ji, consider me as your elder brother. Anytime, anything you think I am capable of doing, or if I am needed, I will be there. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak here, and I really feel very sad on behalf of the whole alma mater about our Manipal family that we have lost a great friend, philosopher, and a guide to us. We can really call him guide. He was so well read, and he will always tell you what next, what to be done. He will always be guiding us. Thank you. I pray to God to give him rest in peace and enough courage to the whole family and to all of us to bear this loss.
Sanjay Sinhalapon. Thank you. Now, may I request Dr. Datteshwar Hota, the chairman of the andrology section of USI, to say a few words. Unmute yourself. Unmute. Unmute yourself, sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Thank you all, sir. We have all assembled here on this sad day because we lost our very close friend, Dr. Laxman Prabhu. Dr. Prabhu, whom we used to address with a fondly reverence, Prabhu Ji, never realized at that time that we have to address on such a day like this, Prabhu to all of us. Like all others, I had my personal connect with him and learned many things in life from him. To my mind, he was a highly initiated person, gentle and devoted benefactor. We are so distressed, disturbed, dejected that you have left us for heavenly abode. Please tell God on our behalf that the world should be populated by more and more people, friends like you, so that the earth becomes better to live. Oh God, my prayer to you, please take care of our beloved friends, Prabhuji. We have all assembled here in Chennai for our 1.5-day Seminicon. We have dedicated the Seminicon to our beloved friends, Prabhu, and the whole fraternity of the andrology section joins me expressing our deepest condolences to Kavita ji and the family of Dr. Laxman Prabhu. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hota. I'm sure Dr. Laxman would have really liked to present in that conference because he was talking so much about this Seminicon. He promoted actually the idea that in the section, they should take up these small topics and discuss thoroughly about it. So it was a very nice gesture of andrology section that you have dedicated this whole thing to in the memory of Dr. Laxman Prabhu. Thank you, Dr. Hota. Now, may I request Dr. Amilal Bhatt, the chairman of the pediatric section of USI, to say a few words about him.
On behalf of the pediatric urology section, we pay homage to my friend, dear friend, who always had been an inspiration in the development of subsections, a true way the USI wanted, and he was the key person to implement that way. And anywhere, wherever we were meeting, he will always have some new ideas. The greatest thing about him was that he will praise anything new, creative thing, either in the music or in the society or in the literature or any new concept or in urology, and he will say, and he will pick up, he has such a good eye that he will pick up gist of any of these things and will discuss. On behalf of the pediatric urology section, we assure you that whatever the things which you wanted, we will implement in the pediatric section. And I pray God to place him and his soul in his feet and a strength to the family and USI to bear this great loss. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Amilal Bhatt. Now I request Navneet to put the recording of Dr. Anish Gupta. He's the chairman, he's the secretary of the Benevolent Fund of USI. Actually, it was Laxman Prabhu who was so enthusiastic and was so keen about the Benevolent Fund. And he suggested actually lots of modification. He suggested so many things, how people can be impressed upon that it is beneficial to them to be the member for themselves. And I request Dr. Anish Gupta to say a few words. He's at present traveling, so he has sent his recording. May I request Navneet Arora to play the recording?
सुश्रुतस्य देवस्य पुत्र लक्ष्मणः श्रुतः यूरोलॉजी समाजस्य यानि सेवानि कार्याणं यज्ञोपवित्रधारी च धर्मार्थ सततयो लोकनुग्रहकारी व सर्वलोकहितरतः यूरो निरोधक दुःखं समाधुतं स मोदिनीम् आरोग्य प्रिय भाग्य लक्ष्मणस्य सुतय ततम्. Laxman, the son of divine Sushruta, dedicated himself to the service of Urology Society. Adorned with the sacred thread, he walked the path of righteousness for the welfare of all. Ever engaged in acts of compassion, he alleviated pains obstructing health of all, bestowing the boon of health upon earth. These are some words written by me. My love and association as a mentor and colleague for Laxman sir is a void which can never be filled. On behalf of all members of the Benevolent Fund, I am saddened by the fact that I lost my founder brother. I would be travelling to Mangalore for giving the first check from this fund with a very heavy heart to his family, who I also consider to be my family. Anyone wanting to join the fund now can still contribute to our final contribution to our beloved Laxman sir's family. This will be till 30th November. With regards to one and all, Om Shanti.
Thank you. May I now request Dr. Sanjay Sinha, who is the chairman of the female urology section, female and functional urology section, to say a few words about him.
Thank you, Ravi. And anything I say feels grossly inadequate when I speak about Laxman. It's incredible that one person could make all of us feel so close, could find the time to speak to all of us almost on a daily basis, and could be fully focused in giving us advice when we needed it. He was an extraordinary listener. He really worked hard with us in the section to make sure to protect our interests, to help us progress. And even that morning, I exchanged messages with him and spoke with him, and that really makes this so vivid. My heart reaches out to Mrs. Kavita, his family. All I can say is your husband, your father, was an extraordinary figure. He was inspiring. He was legendary, and you can be justifiably proud of his legacy. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. Thank you, Laxman, for touching our lives. And I feel through whatever moments we spent with you, each one of us are probably better human beings. Om Shanti.
Thank you. Laxman was extremely passionate about the younger urologists. In fact, whenever we had discussion about when he was secretary and I was president, he was secretary-elect, he wanted to do so many things about young urologists. And therefore, this concept of young urology conclave and this, he was so eager and so enthusiastic. So may I now request the chairman of the youth wing of USI, Dr. Jishan, to say a few words about Dr. Laxman.
My deep condolences to Laxman sir's family, and we are at great loss at Youth Organization of USI as sir left us too early. Personally, sir was a great teacher, mentor, friend, and philosopher, not only for me, for most of the young generation of Urological Society of India. We had a very unique bonding because he was my teacher, and literally from day one of my career in medicine, I've been following his footsteps. And as sir mentioned, Sabni sir mentioned, Laxman sir was quite instrumental in the establishment of youth organization of USI. From day one, he has been taking a lot of interest, and you would have seen during our youth conclave in Goa how actively he was involved, and it was successful because of his guidance and his visions. Sir had a lot of visions for us, a lot of thoughts for the youngsters, and also the youth organization of USI. But due to this untimely event, we really are at great loss. And I think the only way we can bring justice to this and pay homage to him is by continuing to work like what he had thought of us working for USI, and also to bring his dream of united USI and a vibrant USI. Sir, wherever you are, we will miss you, and may your soul rest in peace.
Thank you, Jishan. I'm sure in every young urologist's heart, Laxman is there. He will not go from us. Now, may I request Dr. Rajesh Tiwari, the organizing secretary of the Patna USICON, to say a few words about him. Patna USICON, Apna USICON is the word which Dr. Laxman had put this tagline, and now it has become really popular. And everybody, when they think of the Patna USICON, they first say Patna USICON, Apna USICON. May I request Dr. Rajesh Tiwari to say a few words? Rajesh?
I want.
Rajesh Tiwari, you have to unmute yourself.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes, go
thank
ahead.
you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, for the last 18 months, I had the occasion to interact with him every day. And he behaved like a friend to me. He never suggested that you have to do this and that. He always told me that we had to do this in this way, in that way. And Patna USICON, which he phrased as Apna USICON, was very close to his heart. Even on the morning he fell ill, he talked to me. He has planned many new events to give a new color to annual Mahaparva of urologists. He also used to call this annual conference as the annual Mahaparva of urologists. On 30th October 2023, late Prabhu sir, myself and Mr. Navneet drove together from Varanasi to Patna from the North Zone USICON. He attended local organization committee meeting in the evening and next morning visited the venue with the audio-visual team led by Mr. Peter. He was very dynamic and active, and we never guessed that he is physically ill from any angle. He was so active. He discussed the hall distributions and the space management. In the afternoon, I saw him off at airport, and he promised me to come 2 days in advance before the conference along with Madam. But sadly, we will never get his company. Now the guiding light has gone, and I pray to God to give us a strength and wisdom to fulfill his wishes. In his memory, what he phrased as Apna Isikon, now we have decided to phrase it late Professor G.G. Laxman Prabhu Isikon. I pray to God to give peace to the departed soul. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rajesh. I think it is all our collective responsibility to ensure that this is the biggest tribute we can give to Dr. Laxman, and let us all assemble in a big number to make sure that his dream, which he wanted to make true, that the Patna USICON would be the best USICON, let us fulfill and march ahead towards that dream. Thank you, Rajesh. Now, may I request Dr. Narendra, the Secretary of the Karnataka Urology Association, to which his heart belonged, to say a few words about him. Dr. Narendra, please go ahead. You have to unmute. Unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to unmute?
Yes, sir. It is audible, sir?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
My pranam, here mourn the loss of the great teacher and offer our sincere condolence to the family. We wish the family peace and comfort as you grieve the loss. We are terribly pained the tragic demise of our dear brother and member and beloved sir, Dr. Laxman Prabhu sir. He was a vibrant person with a lot of humorous gesture, fondly his ever cheerful attitude towards life, and childlike enthusiasm with which he brought alive in all the occasions. Wherever we met him at the formal gatherings, meetings, conference, and brilliance at his podium presentation, whether it's urology or non-urology topics. He was a past president of the AU. He left just a few months after the professor in July 2023. Both were in the same city of Mangalore. KUA lost two great stars of all time, and society become no words to express, and all of us in silent mode till now. Laxman sir had a wish to have a ISICON in Mangalore, and as a KUA secretary, we forwarded his mail to USI. That should be a tribute to GGLP sir. We will never forget the day in future, as his involvement and the suggestion at our academic or non-academic activities like in sports. He was the first one to support, upfront to guide the program even in his absence. With the blessings of Saraswati in his tongue, he bestowed us with a great joy of triumphs of rulers, that he too lived like a warrior of life experiences. He could not attend last KUCon at Shimoga from 3rd to 5th November. He knew his Laxman friends of years at the same time.
One second. Huh?
But he did a message in Canada and local language where he was not able to attend KUCon. KUA Council seriously thinking towards the regular academic programs in his name. We offer heartfelt condolences to family and pray that they have all the courage to cope up with this tragedy. Om Shanti.
Thank you. I'm sure it is a big loss to the Karnataka Urology Association, where the Professor Dr. Venugopal, and few months his own Shishya has passed away. May I request Dr. Keshav, who had actually a very long association, and he was the secretary before Laxman took him the charge. And for 1 year, they worked together, one as secretary, Keshav as secretary, and the Laxman as secretary-elect. And I know the close bonding they had, and he was so enthusiastic to learn everything from Keshav so that when he becomes a regular secretary, he will deliver the best. So may I request Dr. Keshav to share a few moments with us.
Thank you, Dr. Sabnis. Om Shanti, my heartfelt condolences to the family, Mrs. Kavita Prabhu and Akshay. I was there for his last journey in Mangalore, but I couldn't control my emotions. He was known to me for more than 28 years, and he was my secretary-elect when I was the secretary. We have spent a lot of time together traveling, and he is one guy whom anybody meets the first time, he will have an everlasting impact on him. He, apart from urology, he has briefed us so many things about life. He has talked about his life, how he lost his father very early, went to Mumbai and then came back, and how he became a doctor accidentally. He told, my family was in business. I was never destined to become a doctor, but he told how his life went through. He has shared so many things. Me, Chawla, and Laxman have traveled together for a lot of conferences and workshops, and we have spent time which are everlasting memories for us. He was so good at Sanskrit, I was amazed, and he told that he has learnt it the hard way. And he used to, last time we met at October 21st in Bangalore for the female urology masterclass, he spoke so nicely about the conference and the workshop, and the whole day he was chatting with us, and so bubbly. I never thought that Laxman would have this. It was a very sudden demise. We still cannot, he's left us physically, but he'll be there with us in our heart all along. So my heartfelt condolences to the family and to the USI to bear this loss. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Keshav. We are now coming to the end of this meeting, but before I take up the few words from the department urologist to whom he worked all along, may I request Dr. Akshay, Dr. Laxman Prabhu's son, who has finished his MD and now he is going to start the career as a cardiology, to say a few words about his father. Dr. Akshay.
Father has been an absolute inspiration and role model for me. Just a few examples. He believed in destiny. Everything happens for a reason. It's Prabhu, I would say. He told me once about the great Eugene Basil Frederick Foley. Foley was a pupil of Sir William Harvey Cushing. He was interested in neurosurgery. When he went to apply for his course, he applied for at the Anglia University. He applied for neurology, but the hospital administrator who was deaf misheard him it as urology, and he told me, "See how this mistake led to one of the greatest inventions of all time, the Foley self-retaining catheter." To cheer me up, it instant confidence boost before my exams. Examinations are formidable to the best prepared. For the greatest fool can ask more than what the wisest man can answer, he would say. So many, he was a big fan of Sherlock Holmes. Be like Sherlock. Apply these principles when you make a diagnosis. You must observe, not see, you would tell. So many things these were. And if I can be even 10% of what my dad was, I think that would be a big achievement, and I will strive very hard to be that. Thank you.
Dr. Akshay, we are all with you in this tough time, and I'm sure you have a very bright career. Your father has left a legacy not only for all urologists to follow, but I'm sure you will also carry his legacy forward and make sure that how he has become popular, how he has created a huge impression amongst the all urologists. I'm sure you will carry his legacy and create an impression not only in the cardiologist fraternity, but across the country. We all with you in this really tough time. Now, may I request Dr. We take now the departmental people to whom he has worked a lot. May I request Dr. Ranjit Shetty first, the Associate Professor of KMC Mangalore, to say a few words about him. Dr. Ranjit Shetty,
Good morning,
please.
sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I've known Dr. Laxman, who was my teacher during my undergraduate and postgraduate training. And when I came to Mangalore in 2001, I was posted under him and have been working under him for the last 23 years. He has been a great help in my initial days, and he's helped me out on the table in several cases initially in my career. And in about 2008, 2009, he decided to make a formal department of urology, which he single-handedly did in KMC Mangalore. So he created a wonderful department and then started the DNB teaching program. He was a great teacher and he started a wonderful department, especially every morning we had teaching sessions where you had the most experienced person in urology, Dr. Venugopal, and probably the most dynamic person of the USI, who would be giving the inputs to us and the students every day. He was a multi-talented, multifaceted, and on any topic he could talk, but he was a brilliant teacher. And he could repeat verbatim definitions. And whenever he felt he didn't know something, he would write it down so that he would remember last time. And he was loved by all his students. And I would just like to say one thing. Rest in peace, sir. And it's been a privilege to be working under you for so many years. And my condolences to Akshay and my Kavita ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Shetty. Now, may I request Dr. Sanman? He was the one who actually kept us informing about his progress when he was not well. And he was the actually communication between the whole urology fraternity and what actually was happening on site. So may I request Dr. Sanman to say a few words about Dr. Laxman Prabhu?
Good morning, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, go ahead.
So today, if I am here, it's because of Laxman sir. As Ranjit sir said, he started a department. He had a future. He had a future plans. Teacher. He wanted student. He wanted to teach. Till now, he wanted to teach. Till last, he was taking undergraduate classes. Then he wanted super specialty teacher. Since he started the department, only I could join here in KMC. Otherwise, I had no connection. I had my UG days, PG days. I was not in KMC. Final degree for DNB only. I joined here. I'm very much thankful to him. My degree and my profession now, I'm due for him. He had a lot of plans for the department. He has made a lot of changes. For future also, he had a lot of things to go. The day of madam, actually she called, she's online. She called and she told, sir has brought up the department and he has a lot of things for future. Please continue that. So whatever, sir, some finished agendas are there. We used to call agendas. Some few unfinished things are there. We'll work for that and we'll continue for him. It is very good to work with him. Well, I can't say put in words, but I owe him a lot to go in the department. He was there. Now, only thing was when we missed Guruji, he was always used to insist, just change that picture in a little bit more better picture. Had few days before, I think Tuesday evening, here one of our office assistant he has told her that mine could be the next photo beside him. So mostly we take it as joke. We didn't realize what things were actually coming up. Whatever minimum possible when he was there, we were done. Then if by chance in the meeting, I just like to apologize for members. If would have tried to contact me, if I had not been able to reach out to them. There are so many calls, so many messages which are pouring in on that day. There are more than, I think after some time actually I stopped taking calls unless I know the person, no numbers I stopped taking, because it was so much of crowding of calls, messages. As much as possible, whatever there I had done for him, but only thing we couldn't salvage him. And he will be there with us in that department. Thank you all.
Thank you, Sanman. Sanman, you were the first student of Dr. Laxman Prabhu. And what a fortunate thing for you that you were the first student and you had opportunity to work with him in the same department. Well, Dr. Laxman had so many students which are spread across the country. And on behalf of all those students, may I request Dr. Rakesh to say a few words on behalf of all the students of Dr. Laxman Prabhu. Dr. Rakesh?
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Gurpur Guni Laxman Prabhu, or he was fondly called as GGLP in our circles. If I ask everyone to just close their eyes and imagine Dr. Laxman Prabhu, even before his eyes come in front of us, it's his voice which strikes us. If he was in any room and it was impossible for anyone to not recognize that Dr. Laxman Prabhu was in that room, such was his persona that his voice echoed everywhere he was present. Today, we are at an improbable task of describing him in words because it's difficult to bind him in words. He was a man who had to be experienced, and I myself, along with 27 other students, were fortunate enough to have had this experience during our residency days, as well as post-residency also. He kept in touch with all of his students. I mean, to just quote an instance, the day he passed away, the security at the front gate of KMC was in tears. He was standing at his position and was in tears. And he used to say that every day he used to park his car, and before coming inside the hospital, he used to greet the security by name. Sir was so good with names that once he comes to know you by person, by your name, he used to never forget your name. He used to greet everyone, be it a ward boy or an OT assistant, everyone. Ravi Anna, Ramesh Anna, Ritesh Anna. Even everyone would have had an experience that whenever we place him a call, he used to pick, and the first thing he used to tell, "Hello, Rakesh." That voice would echo. I mean, we used to keep our phones away. We could hear him anywhere. He used to address everyone by their first name. And even if he was busy, he would just pick the call and tell, "Shall I call you back in 2 minutes?" He never unattended his phone. His phone was always attended. You place him a call at any time, he would attend his call. As a professor or as a guru, I mean, we all had so many things to share about him, but to just quote a few instances, he was never an authoritative professor. He was never an authoritative head of the department. He was never an authoritative guru. Whenever we used to be working in the wards and all, if we used to get a reference or some other consultant, cross consultant would be very unhappy, or a sister in the ward would be very unhappy with our work, he used to stand behind us and say, "These guys have finished their masters in general surgery and have come to join us in KMC Mangaluru. If they would have not come, they would have been a leading practitioner somewhere with their degrees." So he used to scold everyone, respect them for what they are. They are just residents here working for the Department of Urology, and they on their own have their own identity. Such was the person that he used to give us so much confidence that whenever we used to do some good work in the OT or in our seminars or anywhere, he used to so happily praise. He was the one who never was short of words for praising anyone. He used to be very liberal with his praises for anyone. Everybody used to pick one particular character and he used to stress upon that character, even which we ourselves would never know that we are so much capable. One more thing I used to stress is every day after our half of our OT used to be over around 11:30, he used to take the entire department into the canteen. He used to, we used to have a coffee or a puff or whatever we used to have, and everything for the whole 3 years I was there. And even now he used to continue that tradition. He never, even a single day, he asked any one of us to pay even a single rupee of what we ate or drank on every day. He was head of the department and he used to give parties to all the department. He used to give us food. He literally fed us for all our days in KMC. Such was the man. He was so down to earth that whenever we used to be somewhere in the conferences, if he was some 100 meters away, From there, he used to wave his hands and shout our names. Hey Rakesh, hey Sanman, or hey Rajesh. He used to shout our names and come like a friend. He used to come running and how are you, man? What are you doing and all. Whenever he used to be in any of our places, he used to make sure that along with he used to come with madam, he used to visit our homes, he used to stay with us, or he used to have a cup of coffee, and he used to make sure that he used to have a picture with all of his students wherever he went. Any place he went nearby, if a student was there, he used to give a call, take a picture with him, and he used to always keep all these memories in front of him. I mean, he was such a down-to-earth person. And he was always positive guy in his life. Positive in the sense, even in his words, he was so much positive. Whenever we used to do some work in urology, if there was a failed trial of void catheter, he used to say, don't tell the trial voiding was failed. Tell it was unsuccessful. Never tell a patient or anybody that his surgery was failed. Tell it was unsuccessful. You tried but couldn't give success. It was an unsuccessful attempt, but never a failed attempt. He was such a positive person in his life. Two things I have to remember, even the senior Dr. Sanman sir who spoke before me used to know this, that whenever we were in the rounds, he used to always put his hands over the Sanman sir's shoulder and tell proudly to all our sisters or anybody, one day, if I suddenly disappear from the department of KMC in Mangaluru, the department will flourish despite of me, he used to tell. I don't know why he used to tell it like a prayer. And also he used to tell that I, as a urologist, I would wish that one day if I disappear while I'm working. God is very cruel that he doesn't grant many wishes. For him, he granted both the wishes. Today, the KMC Department of Urology is flourishing in such a way that despite his absence, Laxman sir's department will be remembered forever. Sir, as on behalf of all your students, I hope my guru and his soul finds eternal peace. Thank you and condolences to his family and to everyone who knows him on behalf of students of KMC. Thank you, sir.
I think Dr. Rakesh, you have really pointed out what are his feelings and what he did. I think all of us have the same feeling and same experiences what you have narrated. I can share with you that he would give the credit to anybody. In fact, I have seen once upon a time from the dais, he told that actually I did not know this, but I learned it from my ward boy or from my junior most resident, and used to tell from the dais. So that was the kind of person he was. For last 6-7 days, when since the time he became sick, the whole urologists of the whole country, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Kutch to Calcutta, everybody is talking only about Dr. Laxman. If you see all the WhatsApp groups, there's so much of a discussion going on, such a bizarre topics. The topic of discussion only in last 6 days is only Dr. Laxman Prabhu initially, the prayers for his speedy recovery, and now sharing his memories. I have never seen such phenomenon about one single person. He was a person who was liked by almost everybody, and all our eyes are in tears. We have no words to express what we feel about it. But I must thank Dr. Chawla to be there with the family just now. He's there with his family, and he is actually logging in from there. And now may I hand over to Dr. Chawla, if anybody from the family want to speak about their experiences about Dr. Laxman Prabhu.
Hello, sir. Actually, the whole family has logged in for this Shradhanjali meeting, online meeting. With me is Mrs. Kavita Laxman Prabhu, his daughter Kavita. She has just left to perform some ritual, and along with them is his cousin, Mr. Mohan, and his wife. On behalf of whole family, Mr. Mohan wants to have something to say. I'll just hand over to him now.
Namaskar everyone. I am Mohan. Laxman and me stayed in this house together for the last 60 years. We went to the school together. He was a brilliant student. He always used to say, if you want to learn something, you should develop the art of concentration. You should know how to concentrate on what the teacher teaches you and absorb it like a sponge and retain it like a marble. And that's what he practiced. And that is the actual secret behind his success of, not forgetting anything that he has learned, not forgetting an individual that he has met, and the family culture inculcated in him since his childhood to be friendly with any person, as the other speakers have said, be it a ward boy, or a watchman, or a liftman. He had no ego traits. That was his personality. That trait was built in our family culture. And I would like, on behalf of our entire family, that the love, the warmth, and the affection that you have showered on Laxman means a lot to us. Means a lot to us. I would like to thank on behalf of our family, President Dr. Kulkarni Saab, all the office bearers, and the members of the USI for all the best wishes that you have sent to the family during this crucial 8 days when Lakshman was battling for his life in the hospital, and for all the messages of condolences after his demise. It means a lot to us. Thank you very much. And I know he was passionate about this partner conflicts. I'm sure Lord Mahadev will guide you all from heaven to make this partner conflicts great success. Lakshman's wish, it deserves will not go. Thank you. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Madam, let me assure you that we are all with you. The whole USI fraternity, you are our sister. And if there is any need, if there is anything which you want us to do, we are very, very happy to do anything what is required. So please don't feel lonely, don't feel alone. We are all with you. Chawla, anybody wants to speak? Dr. Chawla?
No, sir, that's all from there. Yeah.
I think we are coming to the end. There are so many other people who wanted to say about Dr. Laxman Prabhu, but I know everybody is very, very enthusiastic. Everybody wants to share with their thoughts, because he was in everybody's heart, and therefore everybody wanted to express their hearts. So Laxman Prabhu, it is extremely, extremely difficult to digest. If it is difficult for us to digest, I can imagine what must be happening to the family members who spend their whole life with him. It's very, very difficult to digest, but the life is like that. And every person sometime or other has to go. He worked so hard, and when he got the time, he was sleeping. But I never thought that a small nap in the conference hall, which he was taking, will actually be a forever. He is no more with us. He is sleeping forever. But nevertheless, his memories and his all what he did will remain with us. Although he is sleeping, we are all awake to make sure that his dream becomes true. Thank you very much. And all our heartfelt condolences are with the family. Om Shanti.
Dr. Ravindra Sabnis, thanks for conducting this condolence meeting correctly from USI. I thank you.
And all those, I wish to give a message that all those who wanted to speak, wanted to share their memories, we are going to come out with a special newsletter in the memory of Dr. Laxman Prabhu, and we will inform you. Please share your experiences, share your photographs. All those will be compiled and will be kept in the archives of our Urology Society of India records. Thank you. With this, we depart.
Thank you.